I've preached like 40 Mother's Day sermons, and I never repeat one, so I've just about hit every woman in the Bible. But didn't Marla do a good job? I should have just had her preach. The First Lady could have preached. I didn't need to be here at all. I tell you, they did a good job. I've got the wrong verse here. It's not verse 11. I think it's the very first verse, something like that. But anyway, let me go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and scroll down to, I don't know where I got verse 11 from. Okay. Well, it is verse 11, but you don't have the right verse. That's not verse 11, chapter 1. Maybe you got 2 Corinthians. So anyway, verse 11 says, "For it has been declared to me concerning you, my brethren, by those of Chloe's household, that there are contentions among you." Now, Chloe is a woman, and we're never really told who's in charge of the Corinthian church. But according to this, I think we can assume that Chloe was a major leader in this church. And remember, when we say the church at Corinth, it means all the house churches in that city. So remember now that, or I should let you know that Paul, when he writes this letter, is in Ephesus, which is on, if you remember a map, I'm trying to help Marla at this point, on the western part of Turkey. That's where Ephesus is. You cross over the Aegean Sea, and then you come to Greece, right? And Corinth is down in southern Greece. So Paul gets news that there's some contention going on in the Corinthian church. You know, it blesses me as a pastor to know that Paul had to deal with it too. Amen. There was some trouble, some infighting. People were, divided loyalties, all, different things going on in the Corinthian church. And he heard about it from Chloe's people. And I don't think Chloe's, as you study this, the theologians believe that it wasn't Chloe's people. They just weren't randomly in Ephesus. People didn't travel like that. They were probably there on business. It implies that Chloe was probably a wealthy businesswoman. And she had people. She had people that she employed. And they happened to be in Ephesus. And they said, "Hey, Paul, did you hear what's going on back in Corinth? They're fussing and feuding over there. And we need to do something about it." So Paul writes this letter, and he mentions Chloe. And I think it's safe to assume that Chloe, if she's not over the whole Corinthian church, she's over one of the main house churches. She's a woman